Hello there, and welcome to episode 1 of my quick tutorial series for Dwarf Fortress. In this video series, we're going to explore the game bit by bit with all the things that you need to know to enjoy this game. I keep this in short videos, 8 to 15 minutes, with topics that, well, are enclosed in itself. So you could watch each of these episodes without any pre-knowledge of the previous one, or at least that's what I'm trying to do here. The game is very deep and diverse, and therefore I try to keep things as chronological as possible, but please forgive me if I fail somewhere along the way, and let me know in the comment section what you want to know if I skipped out on a part. The other thing, DF hack. I'm using this program alongside of the game, and I strongly recommend you to install it and enjoy. Despite its name, it's not a tool for hacking the game, it's a tool for making the user interface more accessible. It is absolutely supported by the devs, and all you need to do is just download it and start the game. It'll automatically start itself alongside of your game, update itself. You don't need to do more than that. But I would not recommend anybody out there to learn this game without DF hack. I did. And I wouldn't do it a second time because it's just unnecessarily more difficult because you're missing out on features. That's all it is. Anyways, first up for today, we're going to chop things, build things, dig things, and do some zoning. Very simple things that you will require for the remainder of the game. There's tons of different menus here, and we're going to go over everything bit by bit. I will use whatever necessary and try to explain it as good as I can. When we are starting out, and this is a freshly founded fortress, you start out with 7 people, and holding down the middle mouse button allows you to scroll around here a little bit. When you use your mouse wheel, you can change elevation levels. Now you see, we're going down below now. When I use my mouse wheel downwards, check the numbers here, and the meter there, over there. And we can use this obviously also to go upwards. As you see there, we're going further away from our dwarfs. This is one of the things that's really important to note about Dwarf Fortress. This game simulates an entire world with all its height layers. We don't have only one height layer, we can go everywhere. So this brings me to the very first thing. We want to dig downstairs to get ourselves a safe room where we can deposit all those things. For that, we choose the pickaxe icon. And the first thing that we require is to go downstairs, because obviously we can't dig an open space. So we select a stairwell, and you now left click once, go with the mouse wheel downstairs, as far as you want to go down. I only want to go down one level, left click it again, and you see here, the stairwell has been issued. If you go here for the advanced options, you can also set up a priority for how important this job is supposed to be. Standard priority is 4, and if we now choose 1, can make this the most important job out there. So let's put the play button real quick and see what happens. The job starts blinking. I press the spacebar to pause the game yet again. And now our dude has dug out this place. So, next task, we want to create a room. It is as simple as it can be. Left click once to have it on the cursor, and now you can see we get via DF hack a nice counting system. So I dig out something like this. Let's make it not too small. We want to store some things, unpause the game yet again. And as you see there, our brave little fella here takes up the job and starts digging. Wonderful. So, we also will need some wood to build with, so there's trees all the way around us. When you scroll upwards, you see all these green blots around you. That's all trees. So, to chop trees, we just select this tool. We have the same priority system here as well, and just select a couple of trees to whack them down. There we go. And in case you are totally new to this and you're asking yourself how to get yourself a nice place for your fortress, enable the tutorial. The game asks you on a newly created world if you want to go into the tutorial. The tutorial, it does include a pre-selected tile for you, which is easy to play. Can only recommend. Okay, so as you see here now, we have a couple of logs. That's building material. When we go downstairs, we see that our little fella here has been doing a lot of work here too. When we mouse over these areas, you see here loamy sand wall, loamy sand cavern floor. This is the environment. This is no stone, as you can see. Therefore, no boulders are being dropped. Nothing can be harvested from this area besides room. The lower we go, the stonier the environment goes. Let's move over there, as you see here. There's a hill here already. but it's all mud. It's an earthy hill. Depending on your biome, all manner of different things can be around here. If you are living in the mountains, for example, stones will be everywhere. Biomes are very, very diverse in this game. Because I don't like my mining speed, we're going to upgrade that now. Down here is the labor menu. You see that hammer thing. We click that once, and here we have now the job menu. You can now see who's assigned to which job. Your standard package starts with 3 pickaxes, so it's no problem to assign at least your expedition leader to be an extra miner. These dudes will do all other jobs while being miners. So once there's nothing to mine, your miners will also start hauling things and do all manner of different jobs. But as long as there's a mining job, this will be the first most important job to pick up for them. This is basically for all the other jobs here the case. So the woodworkers, the woodcutters will do the same. If there's a tree to cut, this is their priority. If not, they'll be meandering to all other jobs. Dwarves will always try to get themselves busy somehow. Now, next step, we want to get these items that are on our wagon. That's a starting inventory, you see. These items, we want to get them downstairs. So we scroll downstairs here, and now we use the zone menu, or stockpile menu. You drag and drop after selecting this here. Same time, one left click and then you have it on your cursor. Another left click and you have assigned an entire zone here. So, we're going to create one zone for everything. This is going to soak up all the items on the wagon. When we press the custom button here, we can now see how it's configured. The all configuration is everything except for corpses and refuse, because these items are stored separately by the game. Because I don't want my wood to be stored down here as well, we're going down here and select none. Watch it go. It's now red. I also don't want no stone here, because we only want to store all our cultivation goods. Mind you though, you can here just deselect a singular section of that, just like that, or all sections at once. Okay, all the other items will now be moved down here. So let's unpause the game one more time, and you can see how your dwarves are whittling about to get all the items downstairs. Perfect, just what we wanted. So, next step, I want to assign yet another zone up here for the wood, so we can store these things somewhere. And last but not least, we are going to have yet another 2 stockpile zones, one for corpses and one for refuse, so we can dismiss our junk somewhere. Corpses and refuse will decay on these stockpile zones when they're being stored there, which means as long as there's a refuse and a corpse zone, your stuff will decompose eventually. Without these zones, it won't. And your folks will put corpse parts in whatever there. It's fine. Okay, so as you can see here, our sports here are doing their task, just carrying the stuff from the wagon downstairs, carrying the logs there on. Everything's fine. So, since we're playing dwarfs, we're going to expand our subterranean empire a little bit further. Don't dig next to the water here, because otherwise the water will flow into your cavern. That is something you don't want to. So things like breaching like this into the river are absolutely deadly. This would destroy this entire cavern here, because water that comes out of a river is endless. And you can notice that it's a river by mouse overing it. As you see here, river, and here, stagnant water. Big difference. If it's a river, it's a virtually endless source of water, and you should respect it. So, this little room over here we're going to use for a couple of buildings, because, you know, I promised you we're going to build things too. So, over here is the building menu. You have so many things that you can build here. Most important, we're starting out with workshops. These are the structures that construct new things. All the other things here, doors and machines and such, need to be made first or items in the workshops need to be made first before we can make these more sophisticated structures. Basically, that's the gist of it. So, the first workshops we're gonna require: one stone worker, we select now the logs that we have cut. One carpenter. One craft dwarf. And one mechanic. Yeah, that's a lot of workshops to get started with, but Dwarf Fortress is a very realistic game, and it doesn't skip out on anything, and the starting process, yeah, it's a little bit heavy to digest early on, but these 4 workshops give you all the items, or the capabilities to produce all the items that you require for the remainder of your starting process. So, what's important to note as well is that when you select any building, and this is how this game works in general, any building that you select, let's select the ashery. As you see here, we can't build this because it tells us we need blocks, we need barrels. So, as we see there, we can't make things if we're lacking the materials to make them. But if we have the materials to make them, let's go for the bowyer instead, you can see here that you get to select which material to make them out of, and then your folks make it out of that material. This is how you build basically everything in this game. If you had, for example, already a couple of beds produced, the game would then ask you which of the produced beds to place, just like it asks you which of the logs you should pick for making a workshop. You can, of course, also tell the game to use the closest material, or you use the DF hack features for planning with materials. I'm going to explain these advanced building methods later down the road, because I don't want to overbloat these videos. The planner function is really cool, and once you've understood how things work, this is the next best thing to pick up. But these two are how we work here. So the next thing that I want to do here is I want to show you what we can do on these workshops. Each of these workshops can accept tasks. So at the Stoneworkers workshop, we make tasks for rock processing. At the Carpenter's workshop, wood processing, and so on and so forth. Crafts dwarfs are sitting somewhere in between, and the mechanics workshop is mostly for mechanisms, but more about that later. So, the Carpenter's workshop, we select that, and we make ourselves a couple of wooden blocks. So, I ordered that, and immediately you see the green check mark stands for somebody feels like I'll do this, and now one of my dwarves, the good Adil Paper Shower, picked up a log and now makes blocks out of these. That's how things work here. So after a couple of turns, we have now birchen blocks. These blocks are basically the same building material like a log, just lighter and more efficient. We make 4 blocks out of 1 log. We make 4 blocks out of 1 boulder, and they functionally serve the same thing like an entire log or an entire boulder. So you can make your expenses a quarter cheaper with that, or 75% cheaper. So you get the idea. This is why this is very, very important. At the Carpenter's workshop, we can also create other very important things, like, for example, wooden barrels. Barrels are necessary to store drink and food in it. Absolutely mandatory. If you don't have wood available, you can also make these out of rock in the form of rock pots. Rock pots and barrels are functionally the same. Exactly the same. You can store things in there. End of the line. So we can make barrels and we can make beds. So this, we order a couple of them more. 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Obviously, you can also tell them to repeat the job endlessly to make it the highest ranking job in the fortress, and a lot of other little things. This is how we operate these workshops in general. So you now know how to dig around, how to chop trees, how to build things, how to process things. That's not much yet. Oh, you also know about zoning. It's not much yet, but we're gonna go in the next episode about how to feed your folks and not let them die. It's also very important. So, thanks for watching this. I hope it's helpful for you. There's gonna be more of these each day. And let me know in the comment section what you think about it. Leave a like, leave a subscribe, and like I said, in the description box below is a playlist link leading to the other short tutorials of mine, and I can't wait to do more of these. So, I want to say at the end of this video, many thanks to all the supporters of the channel. Feel free to join on in. There's a couple of links down there. Big thanks also for watching this video. I really appreciate you folks, and see you all next time.